How hard is it to install a swimming pool liner? Well, an above ground swimming pool, an average person could probably install it just by following the instructions that are provided by the manufacturer. Unless something went, sideways on you and it didn't go according to plan, you don't really have any experience to fall back on to, well, now what do I do when this is happening? So it's harder to install a pool liner than people typically give it credit for. It seems like the kind of thing, well, I'm not going to pay a guy for this. I'm just going to do this myself. You might get lucky, especially with an above ground pool. As soon as you start talking about in ground swimming pools, it gets a lot harder. First of all, measuring for the liner, that's 50% of the job right away. You have to measure across a 3D space for this liner to within a quarter-inch accuracy. That's hard to do. And it's especially hard to do if you've never done it before or you've never seen the process done. Again, you might get lucky. You might get 80% of the job done just on intuition, but there's going to be a couple of questions that come up and you just don't know the answer to them. And if you don't know the answer and you make the wrong decision, you're going to end up with a liner that doesn't fit. And that's nobody wins in that situation. So I think that what I would want people to know about how hard it is to install a liner, it depends a lot on the type or the features that your pool has. What is the shape of the pool? Does it have something like in-wall steps or vinyl over steel steps? Something like that increases the technical complexity of installing the liner dramatically. If you have an old rectangle pool and it doesn't have any features at all, like it's just a rectangle pool and that's all there is to it, how hard is it to install a liner? Not all that hard, actually. You could probably get it done. The measurements for a rectangle pool are fairly linear versus any other shape of or free-form swimming pool shape. So I could see a rectangle being something that an average person, just an intrepid do-it-yourself enthusiast, they could probably get the job done with a little bit of online research. As soon as you start talking about free-form pool measurements, I mean, that's increasing the technical complexity in triplicate at minimum. And you could end up having wrinkles in the pool liner. You're not able to lose them. You don't really want to have to repackage the liner and try to send it back to the manufacturer because that sounds like a nightmare. So maybe you just end up living with these wrinkles in your pool and it's not ideal. And if you have vinyl over steel steps, then the chances of you having wrinkles after the installation go up dramatically. Measuring and installing a liner over top of steel or over top of concrete steps is much, much more difficult than installing any other kind of liner. And so I think that's kind of the top of the food chain there. If you have vinyl covered steps in your swimming pool and you're like, hey, I'm thinking of changing my own liner, it sounds like a pretty bad idea to me. If it's a rectangle, I guess maybe. If it's a free form shape, I just think it's a bad idea. You should probably try to find a local liner specialist. Maybe even you could hire them for the day to measure the pool, because with experience, it actually doesn't take very long to measure a pool for a liner, an hour or less in most cases. And a lot of the times you can do it without draining the pool. And so it could well be worth the money to find an expert to help you with that, even if you really want to try to tackle installing the liner for yourself. If you found this information helpful, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And you can check out my website, swimmingpoolsteve.com.